Y'all thought I forgot about this channel, didn't you? I know I haven't posted here in a while, but going forward, there's going to be a lot more regular uploads coming on this channel. My idea for last year was to do a lot of stuff on this channel, but I was just too busy last year. I just bought a house, had a lot of stuff to deal with, so I didn't really have a whole bunch of time to commit to things outside of the just main YouTube channel. So this channel did kind of fall by the wayside, but it's going to be back and it's going to be strong for Madden 22, and I'll be announcing pretty soon like a complete direction for this channel of kind of what you can expect. Right now it's still kind of being finalized of what I exactly want to do, but I thought today we'd do a funny video. Didn't want to do this on the main channel just because this isn't actual Madden 22 news. It's more of like a satire video, but it's funny. So home field advantage is coming to Madden 22. I did a video on the whole thing on my main channel, which I will link below if you just happen to have not seen that. But people on Twitter kind of got creative and they started making up funny home field advantages for each team in Madden, or maybe disadvantages depending on how you want to look at it. So I thought we'd look at some of them today, have a good laugh. So let's get into it. The Chicago Bears have double doink. Too doink, too furious. I mean, clearly this is because, you know, they missed the field goal a few years ago. When they had a real shot to make the Super Bowl, they had a great defense, and they had the double doink, and they lost the game. Now, their actual home field advantage in Madden 22 has to do with field goal kicking. It's Windy City. It's tougher to kick there, supposedly, so the away team's going to have a harder time timing their kicks accurately. But a lot of people brought up, well, the Bears have a hard enough time doing that themselves, so, like, really, this should go against them just as much as anybody else, so that's kind of funny. The Broncos have endless QB carousel. You're not feeling nauseous from the altitude. It's the endless round and round of our hopeless QB situation. Oh, man, that's wrong. I mean, Drew Lock has a little bit of potential, but I don't know. They brought in Teddy Bridgewater. It's been a revolving door there. They haven't really quite found their guy yet. They might want to trade for Aaron Rodgers. Don't really know what that situation's looking like. I know that's been a big rumor, but still nothing has happened yet. The Buccaneers have fired the cannons. Bad plays by the QB have a 90% chance of being called back due to penalty. The good old Tom Brady referee marriage. I mean, we saw that a lot when he was in New England, man. When they would have a really bad play, just somehow, some way, there'd be some type of a weird penalty. One of the most recent ones was a few years ago where they threw an interception, I think, versus the Jags in the AFC Championship game, and they just had like a phantom pass interference call or something for Brandon Cooks that just didn't happen. That was a crazy one. I mean, we know Tom Brady, like the upper echelon QBs usually get a little more love from the refs. That's just kind of how it goes. But that's a pretty funny one. That would actually be a super overpowered home field advantage if that was a real thing. Like, that would be insane. The Cardinals have great athletes at the end of their prime. The roster is there. It's just not 2013 anymore. Man, they do got some old dudes on the team. They brought in J.J. Watt, of course. They just brought in A.J. Green, too. A.J. Green is super washed. There's probably some other guys there that are old that I can't remember, but those are like the two big names. Like, think if you had J.J. Watt and A.J. Green on the same team with DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray and stuff like that. Imagine if this was like a few years ago when they were still at the top of their position. Now, don't get me wrong, J.J. Watt's still pretty good. He's not like the best in the league anymore, but he's still pretty good. But I mean, again, imagine if this was a few years ago, and then imagine if you have, like, you know, top 7 wide receiver in the league, A.J. Green. Like, that would be crazy. I still think they got a pretty good roster. They should hopefully make the playoffs this year, but I don't really think A.J. Green is going to contribute all that much, but it would be nice if he did. The Chargers have bulked up. I mean, they don't have a home field advantage. They don't have a crowd. They never have a crowd at the game. So, I mean, they really don't have a home field advantage. The Cowboys. Hopeless optimism. This is going to be our year. Now, you might say this actually might be a good thing. Like, think of it. The crowd, hopeless optimism, but that means they would always be amped up, right? They would be super loud. They would be energetic. You know what I mean? And that might, in turn, actually help the team play better, right? But I don't think Dallas is really known for, like, actually having a good crowd. I think it's one of, like, the better away venues, like, that people don't mind playing at, because there's not, like, a crazy home field advantage there. I don't think the crowd is, like, too crazy rowdy, which you feel like they would be, because Cowboy fans seem to be passionate, but, like, actually at the games, it doesn't seem too crazy. But I don't know, hopeless optimism. This is going to be our year. Probably not, as we've seen in the past couple decades, but that would probably be a good home field advantage, because you could, you know, kind of psych yourself up into being super hyped, and that might actually help the team. The Eagles have heads up. If the Eagles go down by more than 20 points, a bottle is thrown at the away team QB, injuring him for the rest of the game. This would be pretty good, but only if you went down 20 really early, right? If this was like later in the game, you wouldn't really have enough time to make the comeback. However, I would feel like you should tweak this a little bit, because I'd almost go as far as to say, if the Eagles go down 20, they're going to throw bottles at their own quarterback, right? Like, we've seen them boo Carson Wentz and, like, get mad at Carson Wentz. Like, they would, if Jalen Hurts goes down 20-0 early in the season, like, they're going to try to throw stuff at him. They're going to take him out of the game, not just the opposing team's QB. I feel like the Eagles are probably the fan base that's, like, the hardest on their own team. You know, like, they're going to go harder on their own team versus the actual away team. But I think this one could be tweaked a little bit, but it's kind of accurate. This is my favorite one because obviously I'm not a Falcons fan. I'm a Saints fan. So, you know, that's rivalry here. Gag reflex. Home team suffers rating penalty if leading in the fourth quarter. Could also be known as the 28-3 home field advantage, right? We've just seen these guys blow leads time and time again. Of course, 28-3 is iconic. We saw them blow 2 crazy leads last season. One to the Lions, I want to say. I could be wrong. They blew 2 big ones last year. I just remember they were crazy. So, like, this is just what they're known for. If they're leading in the fourth quarter, like, all of their ratings should just drop by, like, half. And they should just have a hard time being able to just convert first downs or get stops. This is probably the most accurate, made-up home field advantage I've seen yet. The Giants have finished strong. Home team's QB is easier to strip and may stumble when no defenders are near. So Danny Dimes, we know a couple years ago when he got stripped by Jamal Adams, that was like one of the best defensive plays I've seen in a long time. And then I think last year it might have been when he had that breakaway run and he just like he burned everybody. Like, Daniel Jones is actually pretty damn fast. Like, I don't think people realize, like, he's actually got some wheels, and he was out. He was booking it, and he just got tripped up by the turf monster. Like, he just tripped. And, like, so this would actually be super crazy. Like, imagine you're on a scramble with Daniel Jones and you got a breakaway and you're about to, like, take the lead late in the game and he just falls on the ground. Like, how mad would you be? Like, I would be fuming. The Jags have Duval. Home team is unable to tackle Derrick Henry. I mean, to be fair, like, most teams can't really tackle Derrick Henry, but I know Derrick Henry's definitely abused the Jags quite a few times. I mean, he plays them 2 times a year, so he gets more chances to abuse them. But, yeah, I wouldn't take too much offense to this Jaguar fans. That's a tough guy to tackle. I know he's done you guys dirty sometimes, but, this one wouldn't be that bad. It would only affect you, like, 1 time a year, like, at home. You know, you only play him at home once a year, so this really wouldn't be that bad. The Jets have turf war. 3 opposing players per game tear their ACL on the crappy field surface. And we know that MetLife surface is pretty bad. I think that's why their actual home field advantage in the game has to do with fatigue. I guess, you know, having to play on a rough surface would fatigue you more. But we know people definitely get injured there a lot. This would be pretty crazy. Like, this would be like one of the best home field advantages if this was true. Because when you were playing against the opposing team, you already know 3 of their players at some point, they're going out for the game with an ACL injury. That would be pretty wild. The Lions have hopeless despair. LMAO. The Lions, man. You know, the Lions, yeah. I don't really know what to say about this. I mean, that's when's the last time they won a playoff game? You know, that's pretty rough. The Packers have Go Pack Go, the frozen tundra. Home team more likely to be bailed out by poor officiating. Away team automatically gets penalized for looking at Aaron Rodgers. So kind of similar to the Buccaneers when Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, you know, 2 of the guys that are going to get a little bit more benefits from the refs sometimes. Poor officiating, you know, we've seen it in big games. But, I mean, at the end of the day, if that much was in favor of Aaron Rodgers, they probably would have been back to the the Super Bowl. You know, they keep losing in the NFC Championship a lot. So, yeah, kind of funny. But that kind of brings us to the next one. There's another one that someone did for the Packers called Go Home Pack Go. Home team is guaranteed to lose the NFC Championship. And we've seen them lose multiple NFC Championship games over the past few years. It's kind of just like been just an Achilles heel for them. They just can't get back to the Super Bowl. So that would be pretty crazy, right? Like, if you're the Packers, like, it's like if you're playing like a franchise mode or something, you're just guaranteed to get to the NFC Championship. Like, you're just guaranteed to get there, but you'll never get to the Super Bowl. So, like, why would you ever pick the Packers in franchise mode if you knew you could literally never make the Super Bowl? That would be pretty crazy. The Patriots have Our House. See opposing teams play hard, disable headsets, and control the weather. This would be probably the best one. Obviously, they're playing on, like, Spygate here, and, like, the headsets not working. We've had that happen, you know, against the Patriots. Obviously, they, you know, the Spygate where they knew the team's plays. I don't really understand the control the weather part. That's pretty crazy. Like, I don't think, how do the Patriots ever control the weather in real life? If anything, maybe here they should have put something about, like, deflating the football or something. But just imagine you're the Patriots. Like, I know the play you're running, right? Your headsets are disabled, so, like, you can't, let's say you can't, like, you know, You can't even get your like right plays even in half the time. Like you can't even pick a play half the time. The other half the time I'm gonna see what your play is, and then I can randomly just make it start snowing on your drive, and then when it's my drive, I can just clear it out and make it sunny. That would honestly be like who thought of this? That's just insane. The Raiders have all day. Opposing QBs are immune to pressure, and away team has a chance of getting shanked while leaving the stadium. Now, this might be more appropriate when they were still in Oakland. I don't think Las Vegas is like that grimy. Obviously, we know like Oakland and San Francisco. We've seen like the fights break out at sporting events there, right? Like they go hard. Like they don't play around in Oakland and San Francisco. I don't know if this actually pertains to Las Vegas where they play now, but kind of funny nonetheless. Now here's my Saints. All right, we're like 10 plus years past the bounty, but we're never gonna live it down. Who dat bounty? Saints defense has increased chance of causing injury to opposing team starters. Now this one's actually like one of the best ones. Like if I lay a hit stick on you, you're probably getting hurt. If I sack your QB, he's probably getting hurt. Like I can take a lot of your starters out of the game, and then you would just be kind of hopeless. This one would be crazy. However, this is kind of like outdated though. This is more of like, this is old Saints, right? This is like over 10 years ago. The low-hanging fruit is right there, and nobody took it. I didn't see anybody do this one, but they should have did something with the refs, right? Low-hanging fruit. It's so easy. We know the Saints versus the ref is like the biggest rivalry in sports right now. They could have did something where they said, late in games, away teams can't be called for pass interference. That would be crazy, right? Late in games, you wouldn't be able to complete a pass. I could just knock you off your route while the ball's in the air, right? Or just, home team has, 50% less chance of getting penalties in their favor, or like away team has a higher chance of getting penalties in their favor, right? That's the low-hanging fruit. I'm surprised nobody created that one, so I had to throw that one in here. Seahawks have the 12s. Home team cannot run on the 1 yard line, and red zone passes have a higher chance of being intercepted. Now, obviously, this is playing off of the fact that they didn't run the ball. No one to this day understands why didn't they run the ball on the 1 yard line. They threw the pass, they got intercepted, they lost the Super Bowl. So imagine you get to the 1 yard line, which does happen a lot in Madden. You get stopped on that 1 yard line so much. Like you're right there, and then it's just hard to score in Madden when you have to get that 1 yard sometimes. And now you can't run, you can only pass, and they have a higher chance of intercepting it. So if you're the Seahawks, like that would just be awful. If you get stopped at the 1 yard line, you probably should just kick the field goal because you have a better chance there. But the crazy thing about this, like, let me go on a little side rant. Like, coaches just overthink everything, right? I think this is one of the reasons Bill Belichick is one of the best, if not the best coach of all time, because he's one of the few that just never overthinks himself. If he knows a team can't stop something, he will just keep running it. He doesn't care if you know it's coming. They did that a few years ago when they beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. They were struggling in that game, but they went to a play like 3 times in a row on the final drive where they scored the go-ahead touchdown that wound up winning them the Super Bowl, right? They didn't care that they had already ran it once or twice. He's just like, they can't stop it. I'm going to run it. The Seahawks, like, Marshawn Lynch in his prime, monster, big guy. The odds of him getting stopped 2 to 3 times on that 1 yard line was just so small, but Pete Carroll's like, you know what? They're not going to see this coming. We're going to throw it. And then they threw the Super Bowl away. So, coaches, stop overthinking things. Sometimes, even if they know it's coming, it's just easy. Just take it. It's right there. It's on a platter. Take it. Don't overthink it. The Steelers have terribly distracting. Juju dances on the logo, angering the opposing team and raising their hit power by plus 15. That one's pretty crazy. So if I'm the Steelers, I'm just cutting Juju from the team, or I'm trading him, because I'm not trying to go against an entire team full of 99 hit power. They're going to be knocking the ball loose and knocking everybody out the game. Stop dancing on the logo, Juju. The teams don't like that. You're making them mad. You're giving them bulletin board material. Stop doing that. The Vikings have don't even try. Home team has no kick meter and misses every field goal attempt. They've kind of been known to have some field goal kicking woes, especially the big one they missed in the playoffs a few years ago. So yeah, I mean, if you just can't like kick the ball at all, that would suck. Like you would literally just have to score touchdowns all the time, or that would be it. Like you can't kick. That would be tough. That'd be tough to win with the Vikings. And lastly, we have the Washington football team with break a leg. Starting QB from either team will tear their ACL. Like, just every game, they'll just tear, like, that's just it. Like, if you play on this field, your QBs will tear their ACL. Like, obviously, this is another field that has been known to be really crappy. I don't know if they've fixed it since then, but definitely known for a crappy field where people get hurt. Obviously, RG3 kind of just ended his career on this field when he messed up his leg. But this is crazy. So, like, starting QB from either team will just tear their ACL. Every game, one of the QBs is going to tear their ACL. Like, that's absurd. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, more content is going to be coming more regularly on the channel, so make sure to subscribe, turn the bell icon if you don't want to miss any of them, and I'll see you guys next time.